Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about that feeling. You know the one. It's a few days before payday, you glance at your bank account, and your stomach just drops. It's this relentless, exhausting cycle. And here's the crazy part, it has almost nothing to do with how much money you actually make. So today, we're not just going to talk about this cycle. We're going to build the exact system to break it. For good.
Yeah, this quote it gets it, right? That feeling isn't about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's a physical thing. It's this emotional dread that just kind of creeps in and gets louder as the end of the month gets closer. So let's give it a name, shall we? We're just going to call it what it is, that pre-payday dread. It's that specific, low-grade hum of anxiety that you can feel in your chest, and it just gets more and more intense until that next paycheck finally hits your account. I mean, does this checklist feel a little too real? It's that constant calculator running in your head, right? Okay, if I buy this coffee, what does that mean for groceries on Wednesday? Or that awful feeling of wondering if a bill is going to bounce before your salary lands. Every little decision feels heavy, like it carries this real risk. And then, boom, payday hits. You can finally breathe. But that relief, it's so short-lived. And before you know it, the whole thing starts all over again. And here is the absolute key, the thing I really want you to get. If this is happening to you, even when you're making good money, this is not a cash flow problem. It's a pattern, a deeply, deeply ingrained pattern. And you can't break a pattern like this with a simple budget. You have to understand what's really causing it. Which brings us to what I think is the biggest myth in all of personal finance. We're going to call it the willpower trap. This is the whole idea that if you just tried harder, if you were just more disciplined, you could budget your way out of this feeling. For years, the standard advice has told you that this is a personal failing. You just don't have enough willpower. But the reality? The reality is you're fighting a rigged game. You're not just fighting your own bad habits, you're fighting a system that was never, ever designed for you to win on willpower alone. And what's so fascinating is that science actually backs this up. Think about your willpower like it's your phone's battery. Seriously. At 8 a.m., you're at 100%. You're fresh, you're making rational choices, but every single decision you make all day, what to wear, how to answer that email, what to have for lunch, drains that battery. So by 8 p.m., you're running on fumes. Expecting yourself to make a perfectly disciplined financial choice then, that's like expecting your phone to stream a 4K movie when it's at 1% battery. It's just not going to happen. And on top of your own brain chemistry working against you, you are also up against a multi-trillion-dollar global industry. Every single buy now button, every targeted ad that follows you around the internet, it has all been scientifically engineered to make spending as easy and thoughtless as breathing. It was never a fair fight. So if willpower is a trap, what's actually driving this whole cycle? Why do we seem to sabotage ourselves? Let's get into the psychology of it, because this is where the real light bulb moment happens. This concept right here is an absolute game changer. I want you to imagine you have a thermostat in your brain, but it's set to a certain level of financial stress. If you spent years living with that pre-payday dread, well, that's become your normal temperature. So when you get a bonus or a raise, and suddenly there's extra money in your account, the temperature goes up, and your brain goes, whoa, hold on, this feels weird, this feels unsafe. And without you even knowing it, your subconscious will look for ways to spend that money, just to get back down to that familiar and weirdly comfortable feeling of scarcity. It's wild. So you see, we're really dealing with a powerful combo of forces. First, you've got that financial thermostat we just talked about, a nervous system that's literally set to scarcity. Second, we all use spending to manage our emotions. You know, the takeout after a brutal day at work, the little online purchase to feel a bit of control. And then third, you have the entire economy, which is built to encourage you to consume at every single turn. It's a perfect storm.
Okay, so if the game is rigged and our own brains are working against us, how in the world do we win? Simple. We stop trying to win with willpower. We change the rules of the game entirely. We build a system. We use automation.
The core principle is an old one, but it is incredibly powerful. The entire system is built on this one idea: pay yourself first. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at that top line. That's the trap. That's what most of us do. You earn your money, you spend it on bills and life, and then you just hope there's something left to save at the end, which there almost never is. Now look at the bottom line. This is the system. You earn your money, and the very first thing that happens before you can touch it is a piece of it is automatically moved to savings. Then you just live on whatever's left. It's the same amount of money. We've just flipped the order. And why does this one little change work so well? Because you are moving your savings out of sight
and out of mind. You're getting it out of the psychological danger zone before your depleted willpower or your financial thermostat can get a hold of it. You never see it, so you never miss it. It makes your most important financial goal completely automatic, and it bypasses the need for discipline entirely.
All right, let's make this super practical. No more theory, forget the complicated spreadsheets. Here is a dead simple 3-step action plan you can literally set up tomorrow morning.
Okay, here's the entire plan. Step 1. Open a separate high-yield savings account, and here's the key, at a different bank. You want that little bit of friction. Step 2. Set up one single automatic transfer for the day you get paid. That's it. That's the pay yourself first system in action. And finally, for the money that's left in your checking account, we're going to use a simple framework to guide your spending.
Now remember, the most important part of your savings is already taken care of. It's gone. This 50-30-20 framework is just a loose guide for what's left. Don't get hung up on the exact percentages. It's just about giving your remaining money a basic job so you can spend on your wants without feeling that guilt or that dread because you already know the important stuff is handled.
And I really want to leave you with this. This is so important. The goal is not to be perfect. You don't have to track every penny. This isn't about finding more discipline on the days you feel tired and overwhelmed. It's about building a financial machine that works for you, automatically, in the background. It does the hard work so you don't have to. So let's just end on this one question. For years, you've probably been beating yourself up, telling yourself the answer to your money problems is just to try harder, to be more disciplined. But what if that was never the right goal? What if the real solution is to stop relying on a flawed tool like willpower and instead just build a simple, elegant system that does all heavy lifting for you?